Without vision, the people perish. And the root of vision is values, because we create our vision based on our values. So where do our values come from? Our most basic values can be found in the family, and we know this. As Christians, we know this. When we call them family-based values or true family values, they include honoring God in your family. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, all thy soul, and all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment, and second is like it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. So we honor our parents. That's one of the 10 commandments. We maintain sexual purity before marriage. We honor marriage itself. We remain faithful to our spouse. That's fidelity. We raise children with guiding principles, and we place limits because a certain level of discipline is necessary. But here's what we see happen. In the 1960s, we had what has been called the sexual revolution, which came a steep decline in the family. And now we have children with multiple parents, and they have parents who broke their oath and have stepfathers and stepmothers they don't feel they would need to ever honor. And instead of purity, we have premarital sex is accepted and even expected. Marriage is not seen as a commitment to be honored, and divorce seems to have been normalized, and more children are raised without principles or clear limits, principles that can guide them. And because of that, this next generation is set on a course of suffering. Here's a quote from the American Psychological Association: that healthy marriages are good for couples' mental and physical health, but they are also good for the children. Growing up in a happy home protects children from mental, physical, and educational and social problems. However, about 40 to 50% of married couples in the United States divorce, and the divorce rate for subsequent marriages is even higher. So we consider the rate of divorce in the United States. We look at the 1950s, pre-sexual revolution, 20% of marriages end in divorce in America. Then we look in 1980, it spikes and goes higher to 50%. And then we see in 2020, it declines, which might be surprising for some, but don't take this as good news. For one, 41% is still 41%. It's a high number. And the other is that one of the main reasons this is happening is because couples are still engaging in relationship. They're still having children, but they are not marrying. And as a result, there's a shocking number of children who are born in homes without fathers or in single-parent homes. And we see this increase, and it's described in the New York Times that it's increased by 1,500% in the past half century. This style of living, not marrying, just relationship. So why does marriage matter? Why does marriage matter? We take from Glenn Stanton, who is a research advocate for Christian family values. And he states that there is a mountain of scientific evidence in published literature over the past few decades proving that marriage matters. Let's go over some of those key points. Marriage matters because marriage reduces the risk of poverty for children and communities. Marriage matters. Marriage protects physical and mental health. Marriage matters. As the number of homes without fathers increases, so does violent crime. And I read from 2004, the Journal of Research on Adolescence. Young men who grow up in homes without fathers are twice as likely to end up in jail as those who come to traditional two-parent families. Those boys whose fathers were absent from the household had double the odds of being incarcerated, even when other factors such as race, income, parent education, and urban residence were held constant. Marriage matters. Marriage is the glue that holds society together. And Stanton concludes that it's the glue. But it's not just him. 100 family and legal scholars concluded in this report that came from the Institute for American Values, and they said the well-being of society and children depends on the health of our marriage culture. The well-being of society and children depends on the health of our marriage culture. So this brings us to the purpose and the goal of this chosen seminar. We've given the statistics and this information, but it all boils down to one truth. We, as righteous believers, are chosen to revive America, revive the church by restoring and building anew God-centered, healthy marriages and families. Our task and the purpose of this seminar is to shine a light on those God-given principles that are needed in order for us to transform the institution of marriage and family. And when we heal the family to reflect how God intended for it from the very beginning, we will naturally solve the problems that we see in our communities and in our nation today. This is God's great desire to build his kingdom here in America. That's why we are chosen.